event with Nurul Izzati Binti Jansulhani as the presenter for today's presentation session. Before we start, I would like to read the rules and regulations that need to be complied during the whole event. Number one, the time allotted for the presentation session is only 15 minutes. Two, the time allotted for the question and answer session is 5 minutes only and starts when the presenter starts responding. Number three, the panel can only start asking questions when the presentation session has ended. And number four, the bell will be rung once in the 10th minute of the presentation and twice in the 15th minute of the presentation must begin, and the question and answer session will begin. Number five, questions from the panel of attendants should take precedence over other panels. And number six, the moderator reserves the right to mute the microphone of the participant or attender during the question and answer session if it is found to have exceeded the stipulated time period. Now let's start the ceremony with the first presenter, Ahmad Ambilan today, who is going to present his presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I wish to my fellow panel, Madam Suwana binti Ahmad and Madam Yusalina binti Yusuf. So I am Ambilan dan Syamsuddin from Session 2. Online learning among the SMP session learning. Online learning is a way of learning using internet, computers, networking, and digital tools in which we provide instructional programs to students who are separated by distance from the instructor or teacher. Aurora 2017. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic that have started around 2019, the vast changes in educational approach to school closure, including in Malaysia, had affected identity data during online learning. And the next one is to discover how effective is the implementation of online learning for teachers learning based on their online learning experience. So there are three research objectives altogether. So the first one is to investigate the external challenges of online learning faced by teachers learning in IT career. The second one is to identify the internal challenges online learning phase, strategy training in IDPRI, and the third one is to determine how effective is online learning with teacher training in IDPRI. So based on the research objective, here are the research question, which is also three, which is what are the external challenges faced by teacher training. The second one is what are the internal challenges, and the third one is how effective does online learning with teacher training in IDG. So there are two main significance of the research. So the first one is to give an insight on the overall implementation of online learning for future consideration of online courses. This is because from this starting point, online learning may be a vital approach of education that need to be considered. And the next one is to analyze possible strategies and approach in improving online learning experience for students by catering the challenges that they can face during the past online learning experience. So the unending debates regarding the implementation of online learning for the past few years, I have stated I have uh, three related parameters where they have different perspective on online learning. So for Johan 2014 in the study of benefit of online learning, he stated that online learning provides greater flexibility to select either instructor-led or study or self-study courses and enable them the flexibility to learn at any place at any time. While on the other hand, Jalan ETL 2021 in their study of challenges in online learning, they stated that internet access, technology problem, computer literacy, literary, course content coverage, and personal problem are some of the challenges in online learning. While Zhang and Zhou 2021 agreed that the study on the perception of online learning is important to assess overall learning process, mental health, learning community views, and student support. So for research design, I have decided to go with the quantitative research method, which is survey. Survey is an appropriate method of collecting data if the researchers wishes to know about the opinions, attitudes, and perception of respondents. So the population that I have chosen is June 2018 PISMP test for students, and the sample will be 70 respondents altogether. So here are the instruments used for data collection. I have chosen questionnaire by using Google Form as the instrument used, which consists of four different sections from section A, B, C, and D. Where section A will cover the demographic section, section B will be the external, section C, internal challenges, and section D, the effectiveness of online learning, comprises of 23 questions altogether. But the section B, C, and D will be question using the Likert scale, question ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. So here are the research procedure. There are 7 steps altogether, which starts from topic selection, review of literature, clarification of research question, research design, data collection, data analysis, and the last one is drawing conclusions. So the data collection procedure, I have conducted a pilot test from using 15 selected respondents and to check the reliability of my question, and the Chroma alpha value that I have got is 0.737, which is still acceptable. So the next step is to distribute the Google Form link to the sample and wait for the respondent to answer the survey. And last one is to transfer the data of the survey into SPSS. So here are the data analysis procedure. The first one, I have transferred raw data into the SPSS, analyze using descriptive analysis method, which I will value the mean and standard deviation value of each item. And the next one is to present all the section of questionnaire in table and do the analyzation for each item in detail, whether they agree or not with the statement, and providing general statement for each item analysis, which then will have to interpret the challenges faced and the effectiveness from the analysis. So here are the important part of the study, which is the data finding and discussion. So for the research question one, what are the external challenges faced by teacher training in IBDKLI during online learning? So here we can see two items that I have provided in the table. The first one, my workload increased due to home and other activities during online learning. So we can see that the mean value of 4.21 indicates that most of the respondents agreed to the statement, which proves that this has been one of their external challenges. And this is because family members tend to overlook the overwhelming task of online learning, where they think that online learning is easy and require less effort. And the next item, which is my family members always interrupt me during online learning, which is the least agreed statement. And for the research question one, what are the internal challenges faced by teacher training in IBD KDFI during online learning? There's also two items that I have put there, which is the first one, online learning leads to mental stress, which most of the respondents agreed with the statement. This can be proved by midly 2020, where they stated that prolonged time facing screens, tablets, and smart devices increases stress and anxiety. So here are the data finding for research question 3, which is how effective does online to help all the learners, such as visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Online learning is interesting as it integrates various types of media. This can be seen when using media engage students, aid student retention of knowledge, motivate interest in the subject matter. And the last one is online learning gives no time barrier, where the student can learn at their own pace and schedule. So we have come to the conclusion of my study where for research question one, most of the respondents agree that they face the external challenges is the increased workload due to home and other activities during online learning. For the internal challenges, for research question two, that online learning leads to mental stress, and the third one, how effective is the students agree that online learning can enhance computer and internet skills. So moving to the recommendation and suggestion for future researcher, we can for future research we can use a larger sample from various learning institutes to increase the reliability of the study. We also can apply other research instruments such as interview, observation, and so on. And the last one is to include different samples such as include sample of lecturers or teachers to have their view on the implementation of online learning. So the last one is the implication of this study, where we can see from three different point of view. It is for the student can assess their overall performance in online learning to consider future online courses. The next one for teacher and instructor, illustrating a realistic approach that can be used to recognize student expectation in their class effectively. And the last one for ministry or policymakers, which structure online courses more efficiently by providing enhancement workshop for teachers and improving technological support in school and other educational institutions. So I think that's all for my presentation.
Thank you for your presentation. The ceremony will continue with a question and answer session. Please welcome the candidates to ask any questions to the event. Thank you. First of all, thank you everybody for the presentation on disability. I have a few questions. Looking at your slide on population and sample, you did not state there the population. May I know how many?
Thank you for the question. So the population that I've chosen is PISMP Tensor 2018, which consists of 98 uh, respond 98 population altogether.
Okay, second question is about the instrument that you used. How did you obtain the question?
The questionnaire. So the question that I have obtained is from is derived from related research and from the discussion with my supervisor.
Did you adapt or adopt, or how many questionnaires that you have gone through so that finally you come to your own set of questions?
That I have gone through.
Because you said you refer to a few previous research, right? So I'm trying to understand here whether the items in the questionnaire come only from one previous research or a few, where you adapt or you adopt the whole thing. Adapt is you change here and there, but adopt is like you take the whole thing. Yeah.
So for the question, I have going through a few related research, but only a few. There's no research that totally covered on external and internal challenges. Most of them covers like technological support and family support and so on. So I decided to go different views on internal and external challenges.
So did you come up with your own answer?
I can say that it is adaptation from the question.
Adjustment of the previous item from a few previous research. Okay, if we do that in a way, we really need to do the rest of the analysis of complementary factor. Did you do that? Okay. And I think it's about pilot test. You said that you had 15 responses. Why 15?
It is from the pilot. It said that it needs to be from 20 to 50% of the population. So they said to go with 50. It's around 80 to 60.
Who were the respondents?
Still the same population, but I have selected them, and they will not be included in the sample.
Good. That's all from me. Let's hear from Academic Calendar. Thank you. Good finding. Terima kasih dengan kajian Data finding tu kan research paper one ada two finding tentang experience challenges. Okay, finding tanya my question like problem consequence. So academic performance and implementation of skill participation in online. Adakah yang ini based on research yang fokus sektor punya
The consequences I have generated from other literature where they stated that one of the consequences was
so related party research tu adakah biasa
general history.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now please welcome the next presenter, Sidang Selari from SO1 to present our presentation. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I greet to the panelists and also the moderator, the timekeeper, and also the audience. My name is Satira Bisnasarudin from SO1 and I'm going to present on my research entitled ICT Campus by Ismail, teacher training perception on their reading attitude. And before this, I was under the supervision of Dr. Rafiza Abdulaziz and now I am under the supervision of Alright, so first let's look at the background of the study. Okay, reading is viewed as an academic process by most Malaysian students, as I said in CC Izalila and Aziza 2016. Alright, so this is because reading is viewed as an academic process because of the exam-oriented education system in the past, which caused people and students to read mostly to prepare for examinations rather than for pleasure. Okay, and the background of this study is focusing on two aspects, which is first, the importance of reading to English teachers and English teacher trainees. And second one is the trend in service teachers or teacher trainees' choice of pastime activities. So let's look at the first aspect, which is the importance of reading to English teachers and English trainees. Okay, so reading is important for these English teachers and teacher training because reading is one of the skills in the language skills and in the SAP to be taught to the pupils in school. So for English teachers, it is a must for them to be able to have passion in reading so that they will be able to incorporate the reading skills in their teaching and learning sessions effectively. So those who read more often will be able to teach reading better than those who doesn't. Okay, so the next aspect is the trend. Okay, so the trend here means teachers reading or other young adults transitioning into adulthood. They are found to read lesser than they used to do in their during their childhood or during their teens. So it is worrying because as teachers we need to read extensively to improve our knowledge. But reading lesser than they used to in during their childhood, meaning that they are not extending their knowledge. And it is found that teacher training they prefer to do other activities during their pastime, such as internet surfing, games, and also socializing with friends as a way to unwind from their academic stress. Now, it is important to note that they prefer to do other things to unwind from their academic stress because reading here is perceived as the academic process. So they do not read during their pastime in order to not release their stress because they already view that reading is academic and stressful. Next. Okay, so the problem here is that firstly, past researchers have documented negative reactions towards reading regardless of age. Now, in general, they found that children, teenagers, and adults they don't really view reading as something that is important to them. They might like stories, they might like reading, but they like other things better than that. Okay, so the next one is a student in their tertiary level of education would mostly read for only for academic purposes. Now, I included this because I included students in their tertiary level of education because teacher trainees are also in their tertiary level of education. So if they are included in this category, meaning that they also only read for academic purposes. Okay, I've also found that most research they conducted on reading attitude on children, but there are two researchers from Turkey and also Indonesia who found that there are pre-service English teachers who face anxiety in English reading despite being in their final year of training program. Okay, so calm down. Okay, so that is worrying because despite being in their final year of training program, they still are unable and being anxious to read in English while they have to teach English in the future. So I wonder if that scenario also occur in Malaysian context and also IPG context. Okay, next. Okay, so this study aims to find out the understand the reading attitude of lessons in the training and also to find out whether gender is an important variable affecting reading attitude. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the articles for the study. Next. Okay, the RQ. Okay, so the first RQ is what are the central teacher training perceptions on training on reading attitude? And the second RQ is there any significant difference between male and female basic teacher training in reading attitude? Now, the second RQ helped me to develop the hypothesis for this research in which there is no significant difference between male and female perception in reading attitude. Okay, next. Okay, so this research is significant for teacher training specifically because it will help them to recognize their reading attitude towards their attitude towards reading. So it's important. Why? Because they by recognizing their own attitude towards reading, they can develop their personal development and become a better and become gaining more knowledge. Okay. And second one is to offer solutions against factors such as anxiety level, motivation level, enjoyment, reading involvement, and challenges that negatively impact reading attitude. So it's important to know about to offer solutions for the teacher training because as teacher training, they must first repel the level of reluctant readers on themselves before being able to encourage reading to the students. Okay, so I've included past researchers here which focus on two aspects, which is first related on reading attitude and the second one is on gender differences. So Applegate et al. And Shami Ahmad are the ones who are focusing on reading attitude. And Applegate focus on the US teacher, service teachers, while Shami Ahmad is in Malaysian context. So basically they are saying that if university students or young adults, they prefer to they are called as reluctant readers because they can read, they have the access to reading, but they choose to, not to. Okay, and for Lee and Charlotte 2014, they suggested that social and cultural expectations influence gender reading attitude. Okay, next. Okay, so this research is a quantitative research design which employs survey because it is used to find out the views and opinions of a large number of people. Okay, next. Okay, so the population for this research is 97 teacher trainees from June 2018 and sample is 76 teacher trainees as suggested by Freddie and Morgan 1970. Next. Okay, so this instrument for this research is questionnaire and that is the snapshot. Okay, the questionnaire consists two sections. This is section A, the demography to find out their gender, and section B consists 30 questions on attitude towards reading. Now, the section B, 30 questions is adapted from ASRA Smith 1991 and also MRQ 1999. Okay, and the pilot study was conducted on this questionnaire to ensure the reliability, and the Kappa alpha that was received was 0.77, which is considered as relatively high, according to table 2018. Okay, and the participants for this pilot study is 30 participants from Central Teacher Training from June 2020. Next. Okay, so these are the research procedures, starting with the identifying the issue. In this case, is creating the figure, and then locating the international and local literature, and ending with the report write-up. Next. Okay, so the data collection procedure. Okay, first, as I said earlier, identifying issue and submitting a research proposal, consisting with the topic, objective, questions, and hypothesis to the supervisor. And then the most important part starts from here, which is the questionnaire development based on the literature review. And then the questionnaire is tested on pilot study, and then the raw data was collected to ensure the reliability. And then after the reliability was ensured, then the questionnaire is then distributed to the actual respondent. And lastly, analyze the data using the solution methodology. Okay, so the data analysis procedure. First, I conducted a reliability test to find out the crop alpha. And then the second one is descriptive analysis to find out mean and standard deviation. Okay, so the second descriptive analysis will be used to find out the Central Teacher Training perception on the institute, which will answer the first RQ. Okay, the third one is influential analysis, independent sample test. This is to find out the answer to RQ, second RQ. Okay, next. Okay, so the data finding. Okay, I have included two tables here. The first table is overall mean and standard deviation. As you can see here, the SSS computed the mean to be 3.64 for the Central Teacher Training perception, and this will be used to answer the first RQ. And the second table is the independent sample test result, in which the significant value P is 0.419. Because the equivariances are not assumed because of the gender differences. Okay, next. Okay, so what does it mean by 36.4 mean score for this Central Teacher Training perception? So it means that Central Teacher Training has moderate level of perception towards reading, because according to Nur Farahana and Manor Hasnah 2018, 3.64 is considered as moderate mean score, meaning that the Central Teacher Training has moderate perception. Okay, and so that answered the first RQ. So, okay, as I mentioned earlier, the statistical value obtained was 0.419, and according to Hinton, it is higher than 0.05. So, there is no significant difference between the perception of male and female teacher training or reading attitude, and that answered RQ2. So, therefore, the hypothesis is accepted. Okay, next. Okay, so what does it mean to have moderate perception? It means that the Central Teacher Training do not show excessive excitement or reluctance towards reading, meaning that they will read if they have to, but they will not if they don't want to. So they have neither positive nor reading attitude towards reading, and both male and female teacher training perceive reading similarly. So that is what it means by no significant difference. So basically, male and female teacher training have neither positive nor negative reading attitude. They are similar. Okay, next. Okay, Vivian. So to summarize, the perception of the teacher training towards reading attitude is good, but not enough for language teachers. Okay, next. Okay, so this study recommends RPG to provide effective environment that supports reading, including safe environment in which prejudice doesn't exist, and that constructive criticisms are given, especially in reading classes and literature classes. Okay, this study also recommends MOE to encourage reading campaigns and carnivals in IPG. Why? Because this will instill expectations towards the teacher training for them to view reading more positively. So because expectation is one of the factors that affect reading attitude. Okay, so this study also suggests future research to be conducted on the relationship between reading attitude and reading habits among teacher training, and also to provide better understanding on what actually affects the reading attitude of the of the study population. And then the second one is to study on the impact of reading attitude on teaching skills. Most research that I have found, they conducted the study to find out the reading attitude on children or elementary schoolers. And they have, so far that I have found, they are, there is yet to find about on teacher training. So it will be good to find out the relationship between reading attitude and their and teaching skill. Okay, so next. Okay, the implication that this study will have for teacher training is that they can begin to encourage positive reading attitude among their students when during their practicum, and then when they become teachers, they can their own students. And for IPG, this study will be able to motivate teacher trainees to shift their reading attitude more positively. Okay, so that's all from me.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. The ceremony will continue with a question and answer session. Please welcome the panelists to ask any questions to the presenter.
Okay, thank you. First of all, well done, Sakina, for a very energetic presentation. Okay. Okay, this is about special teacher training section on their reading attitude. I'm always interested when it comes to reading and reading attitude. So, may I know why you choose this topic in the first place?
Because it's interesting to find out whether the person is training read more or read less.
Okay, so now let's look at your problem statement. Let's look at the problem statement. Yeah? Negative reaction towards reading. Students in their tertiary level of education, and then there are pre-service English teachers. Okay, now none here about gender, right? Now can we look at the research question? Is there any significant difference between male and female special teacher training? Okay, now the research question wants to find out the difference between both genders. Usually when we put that research question, there must be a problem related to gender.
You agree with me? Yeah, I agree with you. I actually have it on my thesis, but I didn't hear. When you mentioned it, I just, oh yeah, I thought with that.
Okay. So I'm very happy that you understand the situation here. Okay, when you write, when you conduct a research, that's the most important thing. The question is there any problem that you want to discover this thing, this particular thing? So the second problem must stay and be linked to the research. Okay. Overall, it is so good. Okay. I pass to Madam Salina.
Okay. Kita senang jadi navigate. Very good intervention. Very very confident. Okay. Share the items dengan ibunya. Kajian kan, nampak excited. Okay. Research ni berkaitan dengan perception reading process. Reading level.
Reading level. Okay, so IPG. We all know that IPG are among those who are selected in IPG are among of the top scorers in their SPM. So to find out about their reading level might be a little bit not to say irrelevant, but a minor. That's like a minor problem because basically if they got then their performance, their reading performance, their level should be good, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now please welcome the next presenter, Alliance from Level 1 to present a presentation. Please welcome.
Hold on.
Good morning, ladies to the panel, Madam Hana and to everyone here. So today, first of all, I would like to say that my name is Azula Bishirasi Alliance from me, and I am from Textile 1. And my supervisor is Ms. Fatima Reddy. So I'll be explaining or presenting my research, which is titled Textile Teacher Training Experience on Online Practice. Next. So first of all, it's about the background of the study. So, practicum. So we all know that practicum is a requirement to be fulfilled in teaching profession. So without practicum, we as a future teacher, is not qualified in the teaching profession. Okay, and then online practicum. So we all know that online practicum is a new dimension of practicum. Because before this, we go to school to have we have physical practicum, but now we have online practicum, and online practicum provides you knowledge, skills, and experience to teacher training. And online practicum also expose teacher training to many online education. So, okay, sorry. Next, teacher training. So, for my study, the teacher training has no experience at all on online practicums. Next, right. Now is problem set. So, due to the pandemic of COVID-19, all teaching institutions are closed. And this is reported by Montibi and Meda 2021. They said that many teaching training institutions are forced to complete their field experience online due to COVID-19. Next, King and Murray 2020 also explained that conducting online practicum is challenging, which is related to my research. Next is again, Kit and Murray 2020 also stated that more research should be conducted to further explore teacher training experience on online curriculum. That's why in my research, I included the challenges, and I also want to know the benefits gained by the teacher training when they go for the online practice. And also the more online applications used by them during the online practice. In order the research objectives, so I have three research objectives. The first one is to identify the challenges faced by the IPGKDRI technical teacher training during their online practicum. Second, to discover the benefits gained by them from the online practicum. And the last one is to discover the more online applications used by the IPGKDRI technical teacher training during the online practicum. To the research questions. So my research questions are, first, what are the challenges faced by the IPGKDRI technical teacher training during the online practicum? Second, what are the benefits gained by the IPGKDRI technical teacher training from the online practicum? The last one is what are the most online applications used by them during the online practicum? Okay, so for research significance, my research can act as a reference to come up with the best adaptations of teaching practical online. So this is specifically for the education system. And also, my research can benefit future crucial teacher trainees when they go for their online practical. Because they have knowledge on what are the challenges and what are the benefits that they can during online practical. Okay, next is related class researchers. So, according to Kadir and Aziz 2021, there are challenges and opportunities gained during online practical. These past studies are related to research, current studies. And also, they stated that various online applications how to achieve objectives in the lesson. And last but not least is when to use technology during teaching online. So all of these are mentioned by Kadir and Ajit 2021. And Google 2021 also mentioned about teacher training would struggle to adapt to the new dimension of practical. That's why in my research objective, I included the challenges faced by them during the online practical. And it and Murray 2020 stated that online applications are effective in delivering knowledge to people. And it also helps to meet the needs of online learning. To meet the needs of online learning. So that's why I want to know what are the most online applications used by the teacher trainees to teach their pupils during the online practice. Moving on to the research design, so I have used quantitative, descriptive, and survey. Why I only use descriptive is because it already used my research objective for my research. Okay, for research instruments, so I have a questionnaire, closed-ended questions consist of 41 questions. Section A is about respondent profile. Section B is about the challenges faced by teacher training during the online practical. Section C is the benefits gained by them during online practical. And the last one is the most questions about the most online application used by them during online practical. Okay? So my respondent is PISMP Central Intake June 2018 from our IPG, and my population 98, so my sample is 76. Male is only 17, and female is 59. For data collection procedure, first of all, I have selecting a representative of each unit from level 1 until level 5, and after that, I distribute the questionnaires by using a link of the Google Forms. And it takes about 1 week for me to get all the information from the respondents. So, moving on to data analysis procedures. So, I have used SPSS versions 26, the latest version, and I use descriptive analysis and descriptive statistics. So, for data finding, for research questions, because I want to know what are the challenges faced by the teacher training during the online practicals, I hope to know that high mean is shown for data finding in my research questions one, and I've got to know that all the teacher training could not wait to complete their online practicals because of the challenges that they face during the online practicals. Okay, so here we can see the mean, which is 4.50, which is the highest for for my data findings in research questions one, and followed by pupils rely on their parents' devices to join online learning, which is 4.49. And also, poor language proficiency affects my online teaching. The pupils' poor language, which is 4.34. Okay. Next is research questions two. Okay, so for research questions two, it's about the benefits gained by the teacher trainees during the online curriculum. So I've got to know that the mean of for this research questions two is also high, which you can see that from C1, I learned to utilize many online applications during online curriculum, which the mean is 4.76. And also, they got to save money because they stay at home with their family during the online curriculum. And here, 74 of them said yes, and only 2 of them said no for this question. So, it can be said that they gain, despite of the challenges that they face during online practicum, they gain benefits from it. Okay? Research question 3. Okay. For this RQ3, the most online application used during online practicum is YouTube. Okay, YouTube, and the lead is horizontal. Only 2.6% of it. Next, the discussion. For research question 1, 9 over 20 of the items displayed a high mean score, and most of the respondents can say to complete online curriculum, and the percentage for this is 64.5. The highest, they feel that that is the most challenge that they face during online practice. For RQ2, um, they got to save money because they stay at home during online practicums, and they also learn many online applications during online practicums. Last one is YouTube is the most online application used during online practicums with the percentage of 27.6%. Alright? Next. Okay, so the conclusion is RQ1, most respondents totally agree that they face challenges in conducting online practicum. RQ2, most respondents totally agree that they utilize many online applications and spend money during online practicum. And the last one is YouTube is the most online application used by them. Okay? So the recommendation is more studies regarding teacher training experience on online practicum should be conducted. So there are two that I will that I stated here. First is survey on teacher training experience during online practice. So because I have conducted for challenges, benefits, and the online application used, so for future training teachers, they can conduct a survey on the factors and solutions to the challenges that they face during online practice. Next is a case study on teacher training experience. So for this one, the future researchers can do a case study on teachers who are teaching urban, suburban, and rural areas, so that they know what are the experience the teacher training face when they teach in these areas. Implications, there are three for teacher training. Okay. Teacher trainees have to be mentally and physically prepared for online studies. The first one, because we know that the education system always changing, so it is a must for teacher trainees to be mentally and physically prepared for the changes. Next is the education system. So for the education system, they should or they can provide seminars and programs on online practices so that the teacher trainees get exposed to online practice. And last one is supervisor. Supervisor can do or can play their part as as a guide and give support to the teacher trainees while they are doing the online. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. The secretary will now continue with a sitting art discussion. Please welcome the panelists to ask the questions to the movement.
Okay, thank you, Ambilan. Congratulations on the presentation and also for the completion of the research. Okay, I think this is a very relevant topic, we do a research on, okay, it is very recent for online practices to be discussed about. Okay, now, I'll give you suggestions before. Okay. Not much, but it's about the way you construct your sentences for research objective. Can we have a look at research objective? Let's look. Okay, number 3. To discover the most online application. I think what you want to say is to discover the online application used the most. Okay, you reconstruct that because when you say it that is going to you're going to carry that sentence structure again and again. Okay, this is the same thing with the research question. What are the most online applications used? It should be what are the online applications used the most? Okay. Then it goes to your finding. Okay, discussion under discussion. Okay, there. YouTube is the online application used the most. Okay, that is point. Okay, let's move. Okay, so that's my suggestion. Now let's go to the question. Okay, now I am interested with your research instrument. Where did you obtain this research, this questionnaire?
I get it from our study and our development. And I make changes from there.
You what?
I make changes from there.
Okay, you make changes that, I mean, you meet the answer. How many answers do you have altogether?
I have 41 questions.
And that includes the profile?
No.
No. So it starts from section B to
Section
section D, yeah?
B, section 3, 20, section C, 20, and section C only 1.
And they are all close-ended.
Yes, they are all close.
Meaning they're not given chance to state anything. I'm just trying to understand how it is. So when you accept Hazuna to the CSA, complementary research analysis, did you do that? No. Okay. I think at this level, maybe many of you are not really sure what is CSA. And then maybe students will have to carry more after this. I think that's all. That's all. I understand and the part. Thank you. Thank you for your
Tanya ada ini nampak macam dia punya current reference dalam slide dan slide research objective. Try to understand your research objective. Okay, one, identify the challenges faced by the activity. So, to answer this objective, we do use the statement. Kita gunakan sendiri kan? To answer the question, research question tu, also. All the challenges. One challenges. Macam mana you dapat item dalam instrument tu related to the income of their business. Like I said before, specific from here, study, they said about the challenges and opportunities that they from the research that they came from the research, So from there, I adapt to my question. That's why I come up with this research question. Communication, uh, instrumental, geography, so construction, twenty. Then we are choosing 20 and only one question for subject because I only want to know the most clarification, which means only one of our teachers. Thank you. So please welcome the next presenter. Roman Ambilan has been from Chapter 5 to present his presentation. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very happy and people educated. The topic of my research is the study on the use of English captions to enhance English vocabulary and pronunciation among semester 2 PSMP students. I am Muhammad Hussein from 35 June 2018 intake, and my supervisor is Patin Sugesti with Yusuf. When we are looking at the topic chosen for the research is of my own curiosity as a second language learner from a very young age until now because using movies and using the captions under a video or under any electronic media that I consume is really helpful for me to become a better learner as I learn new vocabulary, pronunciation, and as well as using the new words that I learned from the use of captions when watching movies and consuming electronic media such as YouTube videos or short video clips and many more resources. Moving on to the next slide. This is the content that we discussed from beginning to the end. My presentation. The background of study, as I mentioned in my opening remark, are of curiosities of faith in Indian vocabulary as for myself. And in this research, I would like to find out does anybody else or any other second language learner use the same method in acquiring new vocabularies and as well as using it in their daily life practices. And second is different method of language acquisition, where we talk about comprehensible input mentioned by Hershey in 1987. As we know, we have different types of learners. We have visual, spatial, auditory, and many more types of learners. So comprehensible input is put up when we are consuming the knowledge in front of us, and the comprehensible input that we receive is differently for different individuals. So as for me, I learn through reading action, listening to the sound, and learn how to pronounce the new vocabulary that I learned when consuming electronic media. And the third is applications of the newly learned word in our daily life or in the samples of the population that I choose, either in academic or non-academic ways. And next, this is the problem statement. From London 2004, professional input that can be learning to English to read captions. The second one, the use of captions influence the vocabulary mastery, pronunciation, and improve their language skill set in the young practices. For my questionnaire, just to inform, I adapted it from Hadith 2014, made it my supervisor, and tested it using the from Alpha. And the third one, uh, reading the gap on the past study is necessary to conduct this study in one second language learner. When I look at the past research of this study, the latest one is only in 2014. So as we know, there are much more and various resources that you can find in learning English like through caption. So within the gap on past study, and now it's really relevant to conduct this study by using a survey method. Next one. This is the purpose of the study, which I divided into three key points. The first one is the potential of English caption uh, in second language acquisition. When I talk about second language acquisition, we can say about ESL and ESL learners. But for this one, the focus population is only on ESL students. And the second one is the evaluation of pronunciation in daily life. The third one is the evaluation of any learning vocabulary in academic or non-academic ways in their daily life practices. Next, this is the research objectives. The first one, to identify that using English captions helps to improve the vocabulary mastery among PISMP semester 2 tertiary students. Second one, to identify that using English captions helps to improve pronunciation among PISMP semester 2 tertiary students. The third one is to identify that the use of captions promote the use of it in daily life practices. Next, this is the expression that I constructed. Thus, using English captions help improve the vocabulary mastery of PISMP semester 2 2026. That using English captions help improve the English pronunciation of PISMP semester 2 2026. And the third one, that using the captions promote the use of the word in their daily life. So these are the three research questions that I constructed with the solution of studying strategy. And next, this is the significance of the study because I have to point out the correlation between three things, which is this operation for vocabulary mastery and pronunciation, and as well as application, the application of many learned words in their daily life practices. The second one is finding new methods of language learning in a formal way, which is we can try to integrate the use of caption as a part of the new curriculum where we can say it is the new resource as a new method of language learning. And the third one, setting new guidelines for the Ministry of Education, proposing a new or better curriculum in second language acquisition by focusing on English as our second language because English is not our mother tongue. So we can say the focus can be on either primary, secondary, or tertiary level of education. Next, this is the past research that I found, which is four of it. The first one, we got it until identified 2014, which is on Iranian students. They are the ESL learners. The result of study shows that a critical group among Iranian students who watch the film with English captions outperform the students in the control group. The control group is the Iranian students that didn't use the captions when they are consuming the movie as a part of learning by using captions. The second one is security students and line by 2001. The use of captions in electronic media improved the experimental group listening comprehension and oral production. Because I like to highlight the oral production, where in the research we mentioned about the improvement made in pronouncing the words. They have learned before and they newly learned. The third one, Young Wei Xiang in 2006. Some descriptions on the screen include the participants' listening comprehension, vocabulary, and pronunciation. The Chinese students agree on the use of English soundtrack descriptions are highly effective for learning. The last one, independent research different from the second one. Secondary students able to recognize more words after watching television with the use of captions. The author also concluded the captions help students to identify different story elements in the video. To summarize, all of the research the significant similarities that we can find in all of the research is they are all second language learner or foreign language learners of English. So English is not their mother tongue. Similar, yes, same as the population student in this research. Research design the actions is survey by using questionnaire. The two goals are just to support my design of that I choose in this research. Next one. This is the population example that I chosen. The dictionary of IPDKRI. PSMP as a student in the two consisting of 60 individuals. I choose 9 for pilot study and the other respondents are 51 respondents. They are the different individuals for pilot study and respondents. And by referring to page power in 2015, consisting of 10 to 20% chosen for a pilot study. So I choose the middle number which is 15 using mathematical way. So we got 9 over 50 is 15% of the population chosen. Next, the instruments of data collection I use questionnaire by using Google form. 50 questions divided by 3 because there are 3 focus, which is the vocabulary mastery, pronunciation, and the use of it in daily life by using Google form, and also use ticket scale to do the mean interpretation for in SPSS letter. Why using Google form? Because it can be transferred into spreadsheet and then uploaded it in SPSS version 22.0 to be analyzed using statistical way. Next, this is the research procedure that I did. The first one is choosing or highlighting the topic of the research, and then take to choosing the design, and then referring to previous research and findings that is related to the topic chosen. Next one is create instruments to the bio study. The related test that I got is 0.875 and distribute the survey to my um, sample by using WhatsApp and by giving to the representative of their KO. And the next one is the analysis, finding and drawing conclusions of the research to proceed with the final of report writing. Next one, this is a data collection procedure from the survey transferred into Excel or spreadsheet into a document and then upload it into IBM SPSS, which is 22.0. Why didn't use 26.0? Because there's a certain issue with mine. That's why I can use the data solution by under the supervision of starting. The formula used and the statistical way used are the same, so it's no problem. So I keep doing that. Next one, analysis procedure using IBM. I get the mean standard deviation and as well as to use it to find the from alpha for the derivative test. And then proceeding with using IBM SPSS, I choose to use main interpretation score in analyzing my data of the questionnaire. Next one, this is the data finding. As I mentioned, using mean for interpretation by January 2002, from 1 until 2.33 is on the low level, 2.34 to 3.65 is the average or moderate, and last one is 3.67 until 5 is the high means for interpretation. Next, this data finding, that's the demography, the class and the gender. Next, this is the data finding, and I concluded in the overall mean by 3 questions consisting of 5 instruments each in the questionnaire. This is the overall mean, and you can say that the mean interpretation score is high, high, and high. But even though the use of mean vocabulary in daily practices shows the least mean in data finding, but it is still in the high group of means for interpretation. And next one. And this is the discussion, or this question 1 until 3. First one, the overall means for 4.53. Most respondents agree that using captions helps them in learning new vocabulary. Next one is the overall means for 4.41 shows that respondents have pronounced vocabulary through English movies. For the research question number 2, we can also say that they learn how to pronounce the vocabulary that they know before and they newly learn in by using captions. The third question is, even if the lowest mean is 4.05, the interpretation is still high. It shows that English actually promote the use of diligence in academic and non-academic courses, either in conversation and daily conversation or writing academic assignments. Next one. This is the conclusion that can be drawn. Based on the mean, it shows that it does improve the vocabulary mastery among PSMP semester 2 as a student. By many improve vocabulary, they add new vocabulary into their vocabulary strength and slot it in here. The next one, thus using English language actions as a practice comprehension among PSMP semester 2 students. Yes, it does. By using the mean question score also. And the next one, the use of questions promote the use of daily life. Also answering the question and giving the answer as yes, based on the mean question. Next one, the suggestion that I actually made, I divided into three different parties. Which is the first one, students oriented current experiment on different methods of question language learning method. And improvement can be made by focusing on building vocabulary, as we know that we can use many resources now, like YouTube or even Netflix, because we have so many educational documentaries that can be used as a resource of English language learning by providing them captions to learn vocabularies, pronunciation, and promote them to use it in their daily life practice. The second one, the teacher training themselves need to find initiatives becoming an independent learner, which is now student-centered learning in acquiring language by receiving comprehensive content to input to English captions to improve their vocabulary and as well as pronunciation. The third one is the which is PDM, also can design a new effective curriculum by including new methods to learn second English by integrating the use of captions to use English. Next one, the integration is integrating use of captions English language learning for the ESL and ESL learner. Second one, motivating learners to experiment on effective ways of language learning, either than rather than sticking to the traditional way, we can experiment and find a better method or a new method that can be experimented as part of our self-learning by using movies, learning through the The last one, giving opportunity to teachers and responsible parties to find better methods in English. And then that's all from me.
The presentation, a question and answer session will now begin. Please welcome the academics to ask any questions to the presenter.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Kimi, for completing your research. Okay, this is another interesting topic for me, I think. I have a few questions. I think we need to go through this question. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, the statement of problem. Okay, here, method is about comprehensible input, English communication, the use of caption influence of the free and within the gap. Usually, we put problem in the problem statement. Okay, so that is this is my suggestion. Actually. So when I look through your problem statement, it is not really a problem, but it is like a statement, right? You present input. So usually when we write problem statement, we are trying to show to convince everyone this problem exists. So you want to relate to your topic, which is enhancing English vocabulary and pronunciation using English accent. So maybe what you can do is you try the problem with, you try to find the problem with English vocabulary and pronunciation. That is why it leads you to do a research on enhancing vocabulary and pronunciation. And then you must put something here about using English accent. Then you can be easy. Okay, that is my suggestion. One, let's move to the next one. Okay. When we talk about purpose of the study, it is I don't think it is your purpose of the study to improve pronunciation. Meaning, through this study, you are not trying to improve the pronunciation. You get what I mean? Yeah, okay. I'm telling everyone here too, okay? When we write our purpose of the study, it is very closely related to your topic actually. The purpose of the study is to investigate the use of English caption in enhancing English vocabulary. It's not like this. It's to try to improve of your teaching writing. Because after the seminar, usually we give time to students to activity. Okay, move to the next slide. Okay, here. This is how you write this is your sentence structure. To identify just using English caption. I definitely have problem with that. How can you construct that kind of question? I'm not sure whether that is a statement question. Usually we say to identify the use of action. Okay? We don't put down there. We don't put question there, right? To identify whether using English action, how to improve. To identify to what extent the use of English action. Okay, you please refresh on those three reasons. Yeah? Okay, next. Next. Then using movie action to improve. Okay. Thus, using moving active program into and what we about this question 3. Okay, can we move? Later, when it comes to the party. Okay, find out the correlation. How do you think this is your reading objective? In the research objective and this question, you did not mention anything about correlation. Other than you have the word correlation here. Be very careful with the word correlation because if you say you want to find out the correlation, you are actually investigating the relationship. But you are not. You are investigating the correlation. Yes, I know. I'm trying to understand. Okay. So not me. Yeah. When I look at your research objective or question, I think you did not intend to find out the correlation. It's because of the study. This is not how you write it. Right? Okay. When we talk about significance of study, we think if I don't conduct this research, what's going to happen? That is why my study is so significant. That is what you want to say here. You get what I mean? I hope I'm giving you ideas how to improve on your teaching. Okay, next. Okay, I think it's quite obvious to consider because it is already in 2022. So that is like 20 years back. Maybe, I think, I'm not sure. Maybe you find it very difficult to get. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. It is interesting, but it is outdated. When it is outdated, it doesn't really support you. It's problematic. It's kind of showing whether do we still have this problem after 20 years? I don't know. I'm just discussing with you. I'm just giving you thought. I'm not sure too. Okay. No, you might want to look into that. Sometimes we find ways around it when we cannot find what we are looking for. Then data collection. 3 slides before that. Okay, here we have several questionnaires. You have one questionnaire?
Yes, anyway.
Adapted?
Yes, adapted from the facilities in PISMP.
When you put together a few items from the academy, you put together, that involves the as well. Next, 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 next. Okay, here. When we discuss data collection procedures, we don't put it this way. Okay? What is meant by data collection? It is the process of approaching our respondents, and then you talk about, yes, definitely to distribute it to the Google Form, but you talk about how long do you give them the duration for them to complete, and then when you have done, when you obtain the data back, what did you do? Okay, basically you don't really show ideas. Okay, next. Question three, how do you create again? No, question three, I mean, in the finding section. Okay, Q3 because it shows that English captions promote the use of newly learned in academic and non-academic context. How do you measure this? What kind of instrument do you have? What kind of item do you have in the questionnaire?
In the questionnaire, I mentioned that is there any new words that you learn by consuming English description, and do they use more frequent? They use the newly learned words in their daily life. So also in the game, so
So how many answers do you have for
I repeat.
think that's all from me. Okay. I am satisfied with your answer. Thank you.
Can you explain what you mean by English section?
For English section, people tend to differ. Subtitles is when I'm speaking Malay, so the one that goes under it, other languages, such as English or Chinese. But caption is, that's what I say, that is what is portrayed on the bottom of the screen. And English speaker, for example, this is a character of movie. He says, hello, good morning. So the caption is also hello, good morning. So learners can see what the words that the character is saying, the word and how they are pronounced, and also in direction.
Like other
Yes.
lain boleh dilain kan untuk dia punya belajar yang sebenarnya itu
Yes.
di bagus kajian ini cuma nanti apa yang tahu
How many more do we have? One. We should finish that. Oh, can we have like 5 minutes? Okay. It is chaotic up here. Who's the last person? You, Betty. 10 minutes. I think you need to get walk around the ring. Yeah, you need to try it. It's 15 minutes per person, is it, Shamil? Is it 15 minutes per person? You can see fine. 15 minutes per person. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And baik ini ada Pendidikan and Pendidikan yang saya berikan. First of all, my name is Bilik, and I am from Tempat, Digital Bilik, and I'm a supervisor in this Pendidikan. Today I will present to you of my qualitative study entitled Improving Vocabulary Among Year 5 Students using First, we go to the background of the study. We all know that vocabulary influences people, which is learners of their thoughts, actions, goals, and achievements, particularly in academics, because vocabulary is one of the important elements that we use in our language. Without vocabulary, we cannot express what we mean. And vocabulary development can be enhanced through multimedia. Because in the past 2 years, during the pandemic, the whole world needs to transition from face-to-face classroom to online academic. Therefore, from the past 2 years, we can see that the development can be enhanced even though we are connected classes to the online. Then this research is conducted based on my practical experiences and information gained through interviews from the experienced teachers in the selected school, which is school in my previous practical. Next. Okay, we go to my research objectives. There are 3 research objectives. This one is to improve students' vocabulary in English using the intervention. And number 2 is to identify the effectiveness of online games in the intervention towards students' vocabulary acquisition. And the last one is to discover the students' response to the implementation of the intervention in their learning. Next, we go to the research objectives, which are derived from this research. The research section, which is derived from this objective. Does the intervention improve students' vocabulary? The online games students' vocabulary acquisition, and the one is how the students respond to the implementation of the intervention, which is answered in the next. These are the few of the related participants that we did. The first one is teaching vocabulary, which is the study by Al-Qahtani in 2015 was conducted for young students because they are learning English as their second language. He said that languages are made up of words, which makes teaching vocabulary the most one of the most important types of learning language. So, he said that we need to teach vocabulary for the students to gain more further complex knowledge. Then the next research is strategies relevant for vocabulary teaching and learning. There are various of methods that we can use to teach vocabulary. This is 2011. From 2011, he said that vocabulary learning techniques or VLT is an aspect of the language learning strategies, which are part of general learning strategies. By using the correct method or techniques, we can ensure that the knowledge delivered can be well. And then the one is online games for learning. By Michelle 2011, she stated that teachers' instruction and learning methodologies can help students acquire, understand, and retain English vocabulary. From her study, she said that through the teacher's selection of methods or materials, it can help the students to understand the learning method. And then the last one is learning vocabulary through online games for second language learners. In the study by students in Thailand, they are also learning English for their second language
this study stated that students can learn while having fun by using online games because as you all know, students nowadays are more used to the gadget and online platforms than before. So by having what is close to them and what they usually use, it will give them more ease within the language. Okay. This is the research purpose. Why I conduct this study is because the pupils have difficulty to learn vocabulary through the grammatical structure of word known as inflection because each language has different types of pronouns to say and it has different meanings. Even though we have the same word in that language, but it may have different meanings. Okay, so it is difficult because sometimes the word we say like this, but next time we need to say another way. Okay, so the relevance of this study is because vocabulary, as I said before, is one of the main components in the English. And then the next one is researchable. I think this study is researchable because from my friends in school, they are from rural schools, so they find it difficult to learn vocabulary and they have no proficiency in the language. And that it is very good because even though it is through online, I can still manage to conduct visual skills, even though there are only 3 out of 25 students doing the lesson. But from the 3 students, I can conduct this study. And it is compatible because the topics will help them to improve their proficiency. The respondents, from the respondents, I have 2 participants. Both of them are from the same classroom, which is 5 graduates. The first one is male, 11-year-old student, and his first language is Malay, but at home he doesn't really use English, but he speaks in Japanese with his parents. So we can't say that I can't say that English is his second language. So it is quite difficult for him to understand what am I saying in English. And next one is participant 2. He is a female, 11 years old. She uses Malay as first language, and she barely understands even the okay. Next. This is my intervention. The intervention is taken to improve vocabulary among new classical students. The intervention is set up because it is the website that I created on my own. It is to start from scratch and I included games, videos, songs in the intervention to follow. And it focuses on how online games and learning can improve the education. And the topic chosen based on the A1 and A2 word list according to the 5 topics. But before we can move to B2, because there are already B5, I focused on the basic words and A1 and A2 before continue to the B2. Okay. Next is the research procedure. For the research procedure, I use the chemist and math subject model, which is an action research model. It is conducted through 2 cycles, around 2 weeks. And during the first cycle, I plan how to carry out this study, and then I apply it to the students, and then after doing observation during the implementation of the intervention, and I did some revision and improvisation in the intervention. before continuing to the second cycle and repeat the process. And next is okay, there are three selection methods that are used with data analysis, which have 10 questions, one, three sections, for 50 questions, one section has 10 questions. Okay. And then observation form, during the people using the intervention, and then the interview with the students using semi-structured interview. This is the data collection system, which is being done through two cycles, 1.5 hours each. Okay, next. This is the data analysis procedure. This is the triangulation of data, which I get after using the semantic analysis. Using the semantic analysis after analyzing the data from three methods, which is always observation, the analysis, and the view, I can get the correlation between the methods. In that, okay, these are the data findings. For particular one, can see that the data findings are understanding and participating. They have correlation with participants too as well, because they can improve after each cycle. For example, particular one, he only gets 8/50 during the intervention, and during the second 27/50. But during the third cycle, we only get 26/50. I think it is understandable because using online answer the test, the post intervention test, he might face some difficulty or miss click on the online. Then the observation also understanding of participation for participants to has addition with interest. And the next one is interview. For the interview, I can get the understanding, environment, interest, and participation from both. Okay, the conclusion from the study is the participants should overall be more by using the intervention, but some limitations such as the answer that the effect on the result of the test can be tested, so that I can improve this study. And government standards need to collaborate to find new ways to enable the use of these information for students to learn. Okay, this is a recommendation. If I am on this four topics, maybe after this, we can add more topics and include it for what you want to get. And also, it is nice to have a game that you have to decide with. I think that's all for me. Intervention. Okay. Theory of according to Sharon, 11, she already collected, she had
online platform for students right before academic success. He used the intervention for the students around 3 months. Using the intervention for 3 months, he said that the students use and they are becoming better after the intervention. Slowly, sorry, I just understand the question. I think that easy. The mind is the language. Because yang related research itu tidak ada kaitan dengan psikologi dan psikologi kan. All of the studies and difficulties in learning English because the personal institution use English as a language. We are facing difficulty in vocabulary mostly, and because of they cannot use online platform or learning, so they have difficulty in that area. This question, ya sudah orang the classroom for ibu ada kan unified. Okay, congratulations with the team. Your activity. I think you are the only one, right? Yes. Oh, okay. In this class. Alright. Okay. Now. Okay. Again, at the same slide, intervention. Okay. You see, you place your intervention. Then you will see that the topics were chosen based on the and then this is for your fun. Why only A1 and A2? Because you have to work with the and that is better to start from the low level and then upgrade it until the level before you start. So A1 and A2. So that is only A1 and A2 now available in your. Okay, how long did you take to create this? Until the only 4 months to create this. Okay, that's quite an effort. Now, research procedure, document analysis. You have created a test consisting 30% with 3 sections. What are the sections? And why do you think 3 sections? Is from geography. One marketing, two, and three. When you say topic, are you referring to the topic in the textbook? Yes. What makes you choose only those 3 topics? Because it is the topic that I teach the students during that. Now,
tell me how you conducted the semi-structured interview.
After the students their test, I took about 10 minutes to ask their feelings and opinions about the intervention. So I think the method is to learn.
You carry out the intervention.
Through online. So I teach them. Around 20 minutes. They have 1 hour to do it by themselves.
When you say you help them, meaning you are giving them time to explore their community. Was there any input given before they start using it? Let's look at that time. Yeah, I find this visual very a bit hard for me to understand. Actually. You only have two participants. Okay, and you have the analysis, observation, and interview. But I don't really understand that actually.
Actually, these are the things gained from the kinetic analysis. Example, this one, observation in the observation technique. Next was interview. In the interview, what they said, I transcribe the conversation. And then, your understanding, for example, they said, "Itu faham teacher ajar ni." For example, like that, faham, I highlighted it, and it becomes keyword for this.
That is what we call thematic. So enjoyment, the team enjoyment comes from them. They enjoy the. What about the understanding and participation from document analysis? Because if it is from observation, I understand, we observe, they understand, they participate. But what about document analysis?
Document analysis understanding because after intervention, they improve the link with the strength intervention, they improve the score more than before. So I interpret it as they understand the intervention.
And the score would be over the system. And you carry out this test in one sitting, is it? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And that marks the end of our presentation session for today. Congratulations to everyone who successfully presented their activities. And I would also like to thank the fellow and fellow audience